my whole life I've considered myself very American. So.
Even though on the media they hate us, and it seems like a lot of people hate us for being supposedly terrorists or violent, whatever. I know it's not true.
So having somebody tell me that my religion shouldn't be counted is like, it's sad because we have these freedoms for a reason.
So it was really humiliating just to be singled out as if you're a stranger.
You're constantly reminded of your religion, and
it gets hard sometimes, but I've never reached a point where I don't want to be identified as Muslim anymore.
My name is Anum Sharif. I'm a senior medical anthropology major at University at Buffalo.
And are you a first or second generation American? And if so, where were you born? And how old were you when you came to the U.S.?
I am a first generation American. I was born in Saudi Arabia, but my parents are South Asian, they're from India. So I consider myself completely American just because I did come here when I was 9 months old, and I've never really lived in any other country for as long as I have here. So.
Based on the recent issues regarding Islam and Muslims, what's your opinion of the controversies regarding our society and the perception of Muslims and Islam?
I feel like Muslims are being unfairly blamed for a lot of things that they have no control over. I mean, obviously there's some people who did cause horrible things to happen to American citizens, but it's not the entire Muslim population, the 2 billion people in the world. It's a small, like maybe 500 people who were behind all these terrible things. And I think it's unfair of the politicians and the media to use Muslims as a scapegoat to completely, ignore the voices of, billions of Muslims who are asking for peace, and just magnifying the voices of the ones asking for violence.
Can you tell us some of the misconceptions in society you find to be, ridiculous or false?
I just hate how people think that Muslim women are oppressed, because as a Muslim woman, I don't feel oppressed. I chose to wear the hijab, the scarf, without, my father's influence. He didn't force me. He didn't even know until like a week later. He just told me that if I choose to wear it, I have to stay committed. I can't, take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on. He said it has to be, permanent. And I mean, I don't feel oppressed in any other way. I go to school, I have a job, I drive, I do everything every other normal 22-year-old college student does. I mean, I don't feel oppressed at all. And yeah, but other things that really bother me is people think that Islam is a violent religion when it really isn't. I mean, historically, when Islam was spread, it was spread through word of mouth, not by violence. I mean, obviously, every religion has its violent times and segments, but it's really not the majority of time how Islam was spread to people. And when we meet another Muslim, we usually say Assalamu alaikum, which means may peace and blessings be upon you. So peace is, a really big part of Islam.
My name is Thawab Shibli, and I'm a student at UB.
What's your major?
I'm a double major in political science and English with an art minor. Like, the first misconception that I find to be completely false is that all terrorists are Muslim. Everyone believes that not all Muslims are terrorists, but a lot of people think all terrorists are Muslim. And if you just look at the statistics based from the FBI, only 6% of all terrorist activities are done by Muslim. I mean, that's still too much. And something else that bothers me is that Muslims are more prone to violence than non-Muslims. And it's something that is taught in the Quran and in Islam. And I just don't think that's true, at all. You can just, look in the Quran. It says, when ignorant people address you, greet them with what is better. Because, God may make it so that you eventually become friends with your enemy. So it's very, it's almost like turn the other cheek. So I don't like that conception at all, that we are more prone to violence. We try our hardest in the United States to contribute to society as best we can. And then to hear on TV that, you're actually a violent person or you support violence, that is something that really bothers me.
Have there been issues with your parents and their experiences as being Muslim American that you know of? And would you say that their experiences are different or similar than yours?
Yeah. Their experiences are definitely different from mine because they're older. They came here when they were in their late 20s, whereas I've grown up here. So, I mean, they not only do they have to deal with discrimination because they're Muslim, but discrimination against them because they're immigrants. They have an accent when they talk, you know. And I know they've faced problems, you know, trying to get ahead in their field. Just especially my mother, because she wears a headscarf. It's almost like, why would you pick her over me? Because, you know, I'm American, I'm dressed American, and she's not. And she's had to deal with stuff like that as she went through her life as she's going through her life in America. And she's also more out there than I am, and both my parents are. Like, my father was at the bank the other day, and someone was like, go back to your country. And my dad's like, what country? This is my country, you know? and same thing with my mom. She's had instances where, you know, she's like, she'll be in a parking lot and someone will just start swearing at her, like, for no reason. And this has happened to her so many times, like, in her life. I don't think it's happened to me as much because, you know, I only just got a car a year ago. I haven't been going out as much, and, you know, I have my small group of friends. But for someone who's prominent, you definitely face a lot more challenges, you know, because no one's going to challenge my right to go to school and be a student. But people will challenge my parents' right to be prominent and to be teachers and professors and doctors. So